The carving knife sliced through the turkey's golden skin with a sickening crunch, juices spilling like blood onto the porcelain platter. My mother's laugh echoed across the dining room, sharp and oblivious, as she raised her wine glass. To Lily's wedding. It was absolute perfection, the flowers, the vows, everything. Mark is such a catch. When's yours going to be, Mia? You've been so quiet about your love life lately. The room froze, forks hovering mid-air. My sister's smug smile faltering just a fraction. I felt the heat rise in my chest, a volcano of rage I'd buried for 3 years erupting in slow motion. My fingers tightened around my own glass until the stem creaked. I had mine, I said, my voice low and steady like a blade unsheathing. To Mark. The glass shattered in my hand, shards embedding in my palm, blood dripping onto the white tablecloth. Gasps rippled through the family, but all I could see was Lily's face drain of color, her eyes wide with the terror of secrets unearthed. The pain in my hand was nothing compared to the storm inside. Blood trickled down my wrist, warm and sticky, mingling with the cranberry sauce stain on the linen. Dad dropped his napkin, rushing to my side with a towel, but I waved him off, my gaze locked on Lily and Mark across the table. Mark's fork clattered to his plate, his Adam's apple bobbing as he swallowed hard. The room smelled of roasted sage and tension, the flickering candlelight casting shadows that danced like accusations on the walls. Mia, what the hell? Mom whispered, her voice cracking, the perfect hostess facade crumbling. But I couldn't stop now. The words had been festering, a poison I'd swallowed daily since that rainy night 3 years ago. It started innocently enough, or so I'd thought. Mark and I met at a coffee shop downtown, the kind with exposed brick walls and the aroma of fresh grounds that clung to your clothes. He was charming, with that easy smile and eyes like storm clouds, intense, unpredictable. We dated for a year, whirlwind romance stuff, late-night drives along the coast, his hand on my thigh as the ocean roared below, whispered promises in tangled sheets that smelled of his cologne, woody and intoxicating. I was 25, fresh out of grad school, building a career in graphic design, while he climbed the corporate ladder in finance. We talked marriage early, but my family, especially Lily, 2 years younger and always the golden child, disapproved. "He's too ambitious," Lily had said once, her voice laced with something I mistook for sisterly concern. "You deserve someone steadier." I ignored it, blinded by love. One weekend, on a whim, we eloped to Vegas. The chapel was tacky, neon lights buzzing overhead, Elvis impersonator crooning vows that felt sacred despite the kitsch. My dress was a simple white sundress I'd packed impulsively. His suit rumpled from the flight. "I do," he said, slipping a cheap ring on my finger. His kiss tasting of champagne and forever. We laughed about telling the family later, imagining their shock melting into joy. That night, in the hotel room with its heart-shaped bed and mirrored ceiling, we made love like newlyweds, my skin flushed against his, the city lights twinkling through the window like stars approving our secret. But secrets have a way of rotting from the inside. 2 weeks later, back home, I found them. I'd come home early from work, rain pounding the windows of our apartment, the air thick with humidity. The door was unlocked, odd, but I shrugged it off. Then I heard it. Low moans from the bedroom, rhythmic and unmistakable. My heart hammered as I crept down the hall, floorboards creaking under my sneakers. Pushing the door open, the scene hit me like a gut punch. Mark, naked and thrusting, Lily beneath him, her legs wrapped around his waist, her nails digging into his back. The room reeked of sweat and betrayal, the sheets we'd bought together twisted in mockery. Lily's eyes met mine first, widening in horror, but Mark didn't stop immediately, his body freezing mid-motion as realization dawned. I didn't scream. I just stood there, rain dripping from my coat onto the carpet, a puddle forming like my pooling tears. "Mia," Mark stammered, scrambling off her, grabbing a pillow to cover himself. "Pathetic." Lily pulled the sheet up, her face flushed not just from passion but shame. Or was it triumph? "It's not what it looks like," she whispered, but her voice trembled, betraying the lie. I turned and walked out, the door slamming behind me like a final vow broken. That night, I slept in my car, the engine humming softly as sobs racked my body, the dashboard lights blurring through my tears. Denial came first, a numb fog where I convinced myself it was a one-time mistake. But the texts I found later, months of flirtations, plans to meet behind my back, shattered that illusion. Lily had pursued him, jealous of my happiness, her messages dripping with manipulation. "She doesn't understand you like I do." Mark, weak and spineless, had fallen for it. The divorce was quick, annulled quietly to avoid scandal. I never told the family the full truth, just that Mark and I didn't work out. Lily played the victim, crying to Mom about how sorry she was for getting involved. They reconciled faster than I could mend my heart, and soon Mark was back in the family fold, as Lily's boyfriend. Humiliation burned like acid. At family gatherings, I'd force smiles while they held hands, my stomach churning at the sight. Resentment grew, a weed choking my soul. I'd lie awake at night, fantasizing about exposing them, screaming the truth at Christmas, or worse, sabotaging their lives. But doubt crept in. Was I overreacting? Lily was blood, Mark just a man. Guilt gnawed too. What if I'd been a better wife? Those early weeks after the elopement, had I been distant, focused on work? No, I told myself, shaking off the self-blame. This was their betrayal, pure and vile. Back at the Thanksgiving table, the blood from my hand slowed to a trickle, Dad pressing the towel against it. "Explain," Mom demanded, her voice a whip crack. Lily's eyes darted to Mark, who looked like he might vomit. We eloped," I said, the words tasting like ash. 3 years ago. Before he started screwing my sister. The room erupted. Gasps, shouts, Uncle Ted choking on his wine. Lily burst into tears. "Mia, please, it wasn't like that." But her voice cracked, revealing the lie. Mark mumbled apologies, his face ashen. I stood, chair scraping the hardwood floor, the metallic tang of blood in my mouth from biting my lip. "Happy Thanksgiving," I spat, storming out into the cold November night, rain slicking the driveway like tears unshed. That night, alone in my apartment, the walls closing in with the scent of takeout Chinese I'd grabbed on the way home, obsession took root. I paced the living room, bare feet padding on the worn rug, my bandaged hand throbbing in rhythm with my heartbeat. Fantasies swirled, ruining their honeymoon, leaking their secrets online, or something darker, making them feel the pain I'd endured. But revenge wasn't simple. It required planning, cold resolve masking the heartbreak. Fear whispered too. What if it backfired, alienating me further? Moral conflict raged. Was I becoming the monster they were? Yet, as I stared at old photos on my phone, our Vegas smiles mocking me, the resentment hardened into purpose. They thought they'd gotten away with it. They were wrong. The next morning, hangover pounding like a drum in my skull, I started small. An anonymous email to Mark's boss, hinting at embezzlement. Nothing provable, just enough to spark an audit. I knew his habits from our brief marriage. He'd always skimmed edges at work. Then to Lily, forged messages from a concerned friend about Mark's infidelity, planting seeds of doubt. Subtle, strategic, like chess moves in a game they'd never see coming. Each keystroke felt like reclaiming power, but guilt flickered. Lily was my sister after all. Still, the memory of that bedroom scene fueled me, the sounds echoing in my mind like a nightmare on loop. Weeks blurred into a haze of quiet calculation. I avoided family calls, letting Mom's voicemails pile up, her pleas laced with confusion. "Mia, talk to us. We can fix this." Fix what? The betrayal etched into my soul. At work, designs blurred on my screen as I plotted, the office hum of keyboards and coffee machines a distant buzz. One evening, sipping bitter coffee in a dimly lit cafe, the steam curling like smoke signals, I overheard a couple arguing, her accusing him of cheating. It mirrored my pain, sharpening my resolve. But doubt lingered. What if revenge consumed me? I pushed it down, focusing on the next step. Christmas approached, lights twinkling on the streets like false promises. The family invited me to dinner, a tentative olive branch. I accepted, heart racing, my plan coalescing. I'd bring proof, doctored photos, emails, to dismantle their facade. But as I wrapped presents in my living room, the paper crinkling under my fingers, a pang hit. Nostalgia for simpler times, Lily and I as kids, sharing secrets under blankets. Was this worth it? The inner war raged, anger clashing with sorrow. At the dinner, the house smelled of pine and cinnamon, the tree glowing warmly. Lily approached, eyes red-rimmed. "Mia, I'm so sorry. I never meant." I cut her off, voice icy. "Save it." Mark hovered, awkward, his cologne triggering memories I'd buried. Tension simmered as we sat, silverware clinking like ticking bombs. Then, midway through the meal, I dropped the envelope, printouts of their affair texts, preserved from years ago. "Read this," I said calmly as chaos unfolded anew. But that was just the beginning. The real revenge brewed deeper, a slow poison I'd unleash soon. The envelope hit the table with a soft thud, but the impact reverberated like thunder. Paper spilled out, screenshots of texts, timestamps from 3 years back, Lily's seductive words, Mark's eager responses. The Christmas lights reflected off the glossy prints, turning them into garish accusations. Mom's hand flew to her mouth, stifling a gasp, while Dad's face hardened, veins bulging in his neck. Lily snatched one up, her fingers trembling, the paper crinkling like dry leaves. "Where did you get these?" she whispered, voice breaking. Mark paled, pushing back from the table, chair legs screeching on the tile floor. "Mia, this is ancient history. We've moved on." Moved on. The words ignited fresh fury, my blood roaring in my ears like a freight train. I leaned forward, the scent of ham and cloves turning nauseating. "You moved on with my husband," I hissed, the word husband tasting like venom. The room spun into pandemonium, shouts overlapping, tears flowing, but inside my resolve crystallized, cold and unyielding. Leaving that night, snow crunching under my boots, the winter air biting my cheeks, I felt a twisted elation. But it was fleeting. Heartbreak resurfaced in the quiet drive home, streetlights streaking like comets through my windshield. Alone in my apartment, the heater humming futilely against the chill, I collapsed on the couch, the fabric rough against my skin. Obsession gripped tighter, replays of the betrayal looping in my mind, each frame sharper. Yet guilt shadowed every thought. By exposing them, had I hurt Mom and Dad more? Their shocked faces haunted me, aging them in an instant. Moral conflict churned. Revenge felt justified, but was I stooping to their level, manipulating like Lily had? The plan evolved in the dead of night. Insomnia my constant companion. I'd escalate, target their marriage, their careers, their sanity. First Mark's job. From our brief union I knew his passwords, lazy habits unchanged. Hacking felt wrong, a line crossed, but resentment overrode fear. Fingers flying over my laptop keys, the screen's glow casting eerie shadows on the walls, I accessed his work email. Subtle alterations, forwarding sensitive files to competitors, anonymous tips to HR about harassment. Each click sent a thrill mixed with dread. What if traced? I covered tracks with VPNs, learned from online forums in incognito tabs, the cursor blinking like a conspirator. Lily next. She worked in marketing, her social media a curated perfection. Wedding photos, couple selfies, all smiles. I created fake accounts, sowing discord. Comments hinting at Mark's wandering eye. Direct messages from ex-lovers with fabricated stories. One night, rain pattering against my window like accusatory fingers, I sent her a photo. Mark with another woman, photoshopped flawlessly from my design skills. Her response came via text. "Who is this? Stop harassing me." I didn't reply, letting paranoia fester. Inner doubt screamed. This was obsession, not justice. Fantasies shifted from triumph to nightmares. Me in cuffs, family shattered. But the pain of that bedroom discovery, the moans echoing eternally, propelled me forward. Tension built slowly like a storm gathering. Family calls increased, Mom's voice weary. Mia, this has to stop. We're all hurting. I feigned innocence. What do you mean? But her sighs revealed the cracks. Lily crying daily, Mark's job on the line. At a coffee shop meetup with an old friend, the espresso bitter on my tongue, I confessed fragments. They betrayed me, I said, voice cracking. Her empathy fueled me, but her warning lingered. Revenge might destroy you too. That night, staring at the ceiling, fan whirring overhead, fear gripped. What if they retaliated? New Year's Eve, fireworks booming outside like distant explosions, marked a pivot. Lily showed up at my door, mascara streaked, coat dusted with snow. Please, Mia, she begged, the hallway light harsh on her pale face. I know I messed up. But Mark and we love each other. Love. The word twisted like a knife. I let her in, the door clicking shut with finality. We sat on the couch, tension thick as fog. You stole him, I accused, voice steady despite the rage boiling. She sobbed. It wasn't planned. He said your marriage was a mistake. Lies or truth? Doubt flickered. Had Mark confided in her? Her tears seemed genuine, revealing layers. Jealousy from childhood, always second to my success. Moral grayness emerged. She wasn't evil, just flawed, human. But forgiveness? No, not yet. As she left, hugging me awkwardly, the scent of her perfume, floral, familiar, stirred nostalgia. Alone again I paced, floorboards groaning. The plan faltered. Cold resolve warmed to hesitation. But then Mark called, voice slurred with alcohol. You bitch, you're ruining everything. Threatening, aggressive. It reignited the fire, he'd pay. The climax brewed over weeks. I uncovered more. Bank statements showing Mark's gambling debts, hidden from Lily. Anonymous tip to her. Check his accounts. She confronted him. I knew from eavesdropped calls, hiding in shadows outside their house, breath fogging the car window. Their fights escalated, shouts piercing the night air. Guilt mounted. Was this poetic justice or cruelty? Inner conflict peaked. Fantasies of halting everything, but resentment won. The twist came unexpectedly. One stormy afternoon, thunder rumbling like judgment, Lily called hysterical. Mark's gone. He left me with everything. Bank accounts drained, house mortgaged secretly. My meddling had exposed his vices, but he'd bolted, taking it all. Shock hit. I'd aimed for destruction, but not this total. Lily arrived, broken, seeking solace. We talked through the night, rain lashing the windows, truth spilling like the downpour. She admitted full regret, her motivations raw. Envy, insecurity. I confessed my schemes, voice trembling. Forgiveness tentative but real. Sisters mending amid ruins. In the end, revenge's payoff was bittersweet. Mark faced arrest for fraud, poetic justice from his own greed. But the psychological impact lingered. I'd glimpsed my darkness, the obsession nearly consuming me. As dawn broke, gray light filtering through curtains, Lily and I shared coffee, steam rising like hope. The betrayal scarred us, but in its wake, unexpected healing. A twist where revenge birthed reconciliation, not ruin. Yet, in quiet moments I wondered, had I truly won or just survived?